Hi, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home, and I want to talk about designing your home. One of the things we kind of miss out on is the opportunity for growth or the opportunity for different penetration through a wall. One of those penetrations happens to be a door or a window or a large slider, and we don't imagine what we might do down the road. We've seen a lot of homes convert into larger open spaces, which is what I'm doing with this home right now. And as a result, we don't plan for that. You see a lot of the homes built in the 80s, 70s, 90s, and even after the 2000s, they were really cut up and broken up. And we have to have the dining room here. We have to have some living space here. And they're all separated from everything. Well, we now see open spaces to be the number one thing people are looking for. They want to have a kitchen there so people can feel that if they're in the kitchen, they're experiencing the open space where everybody's at. Well, I want to talk about the penetrations from your home, the exits from your home, and the potential for different windows, different fenestration, different openings. Right over here, we've got a new framed out structure for a slider. Now this here is going to be an 8-foot slider. We could have done a 6-foot slider, but we wanted to, because we had a header up there, which I'll talk about in just a second, but we made it an 8-foot slider. Originally, there was just a window here. That's all that was there, and a slider was around the corner over here. Well, when you're framing your home and you're considering the future of what might be or could be, I want you to think about the header. The header is the actual support over the penetration over the door. That's what supports the roof structure and the rest of the building above. If you think you're going to have a 6-foot opening or an 8-foot opening or some other opening, even different openings for windows, you might want to frame it to accommodate for that header and then just put up your studs and then cover it over. Now what you have is an easy opening to just cut out and create later on down the road. This is really powerful if you see that you might want to add on to the home, adding on an addition, and you just connect it to the existing open area that you see right here. There's no reason why you can't frame that up now and then see it as a fruition later on. A good example is this here window structure over here. My client wanted to have some doors and windows exiting out into the pool structure out that way, but we found out that the header support wasn't continuous across the wall, across the windows, if you can imagine that. Meaning that they had a small block of header here and another small block of header here and another small block of header, and they didn't have a continuation of that header support. The header support is basically LVL beams, could be a glue-am, could be even metal beams, triple ply, double ply, whatever the engineer designs to hold up the support for that roof up above, that, the living space above. If you design that and build that in, then you can solve for some huge problems. Let's go to a remodel that I just finished, and I want to explain to you how we were able to do this, but how hard it was because it wasn't designed as the framing package at the start. Let's go to that job now. Okay, we're here at a completed remodel job, and you can see this large 18-foot slider that we've installed. Originally, this was not here. It was just broken up into 3 separate windows where there was no view. And when you have a view like that, that's something you want to capitalize on. Well, if you can't really afford the slider versus the windows, you might want to put the header in as part of the framing to accommodate this later. Well, that was not done, of course, and it's never done that way because we don't think about the future, because we put, more affordable windows in now, ignore the view that's out there, ignore the possibility. And so we put, broken up headers above there, and then we put some supports underneath it because we don't think that we can engineer it for a wider expanse like that. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to header support. Do you want a 6-foot slider, an 8-foot slider, or an 18-foot slider? And you may not be able to afford that now. I've seen these priced from $8,000 to $21,000. But if you know that that's something down the road you might want to do, put the header in, take care of the engineering, and then it's going to be an easier process. This job, we had to put supports all along here, lift the entire roof 2.5 inches, then put a new slider in and then reset it. That was complicated. It was something you don't want to have to deal with. So in thinking about the future, think about your headers. If you want an addition that's going to be a connection, or if you want a larger opening, or if you want a door there but you don't want it now, we can put it later. Just go ahead and frame it out and get that done so you don't have a headache later. It's just a quick tip with Keith Kelch with How to Build Your Own Home.